Boom. Boom. Hey, Paula. Paula did not connect audio. Oh, no. Oh, dear. There's Wes. Carol. There we go. Good morning, Paula. How are you this morning?
Top of the morning to you.
Good morning.
Hey, guys. Morning, Carol.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there we go. There's Helen. Morning, Helen.
Good morning.
Morning.
Are we up and running?
I think so. They're just different people joining. Chris and Arlen.
Okay.
Hey, guys. Chris and Arlen. Woo. Who else we got? Morning, Carrie.
Can you practice to see the rest?
Boom.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good morning. Morning.
Okay.
Wes, we've got coffee today. Absolutely. Where's yours?
Oh,
Oh,
From
there it is.
Beauty. Starbucks.
What did he say?
Starbucks.
Starbucks, serious?
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
man.
Oh,
It is.
yes, it is Starbucks. Yes.
Keurig pods.
Thank you for Keurig. Yes.
Oh, nice.
sweet, sweet. Yeah, so like I was saying yesterday in the Rise Insiders post, if you're on Facebook, you saw me post about it. Yeah, we're gonna have Wes on today, I guess, on the show, and yeah, we're gonna talk about building resilience and about I figured if he can kind of take us through a little bit of his story and how he's been working through this, like fitness as it relates to his health. Right. A lot of cases you have fitness is thought to be like this thing you do so that you build big muscles or you trim down and whatever this and that. But really, I think that fitness has a lot more benefits than that are underneath the surface. And it has health benefits and just like mental health benefits, wellness benefits, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, really, without further ado,
Oh my word.
going off of, let's see here. So I got you spotlighted. Yeah, do you want to kind of talk to us a little bit about, specifically the way that you would have approached food, I guess, before you started coming to Muscle Hut and then to Rise, and then I guess talk about some of the health implications for that. You also came into Muscle Hut. I still remember when you first came into Muscle Hut, and I remember the different, like you told me about the cancer and the surgeries and all that stuff. You want to just kind of, I guess, start with the food kind of stuff and how that played out.
Well, I mean, we both. I grew up in a culture where, like I said last week, or the week before, I think we talked about food last week, didn't we?
Last week.
Yeah.
Last week.
It was like 2 weeks.
Anyway, like I came from a culture where you eat everything that's on your plate, and if you didn't burp a big one, then you should take another plate full and stuff like that. Then you're sufficiently suffuncified, right? Your appetite. And that's the way I grew up, and with a lot of I think a lot of pain displacement as well, anxiety, and that's how I was always eating as well, and so that's how I grew up. But I saw food as a comfort, a lot of times, and so moving forward in my life here, I just touch on a little bit of my life in regards to my health. I was chronically, not chronically, but always sick, constantly sick, and that had a lot to do with me being sedentary. Well, you can jump in anytime you want. You know, I was always sedentary and had absolutely no energy whatsoever. Came home from work, no energy, just sat down on the couch and started sleeping, type of thing, you know. And
But before you were a teacher, you had about 15 part-time jobs to put macaroni on the table.
yeah,
And with the 3 young kids. And so you were always dashing this way, that way, always, okay, I'll stop at McDonald's, or
yeah,
there was a lot of that.
a lot of fast food stuff, very fast. You know, gotta get some food into me so I can go to the next job, type of thing. You know. Anyways, but moving further on into my life, as I became a teacher, I felt, okay, I got my life a little bit together, you know, financially it was a little bit easier, but the eating habits just kept on going the way they were. Because as a teacher, I'm always doing stuff after work as well, and going to a lot of different type of coaching events, that kind of stuff. So life didn't stop. It was just very, very fast. As everybody else knows in their life, that there's a lot of stuff in their life, and it's more difficult to be organized in regards to eating habits and exercising and that kind of stuff. So, but as life went on, then we just I had a couple of total shoulder replacements that I was dealing with because they were constantly dislocating, and so I had total shoulder replacements in both of my shoulders, and then which took a lot of time to rehabilitate and strengthen and try to strengthen it, and then I got a diagnosis 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, that I had cancer, and that was a life-changing, altering moment for me. Yeah, tongue cancer, and it was very life-altering and sort of really made me think about some priorities. If I stumble a little bit, it's just like there's a little bit of an emotional thing going on in regards to this. So,
It's all good.
and so I thought, you know, what am I going to do about this? You know, the first thing I thought about when I got the diagnosis is, okay, in my faith, I say, okay, Lord, what's going to happen? Like, what am I going to do about this? Like, what can you work? How can you work through this? What good is going to come from this? Angie was an emotional wreck.
Yeah, he couldn't go to work the next day or the day after, but Wes, he had to go to work. Couldn't just stop doing what I don't know. Yeah.
I just figured, you know,
It took me a while to process the whole thing, and he internalized it for the first couple weeks until, you know, yeah, I don't know.
I just figured, you know, like, what can I do? I'm a part of resilience, I guess. A part of adversity is like, I think that there's a lot of great things that can come out of having adversity. Like this is what I tell my kids. They're going through stuff, and we're going through stuff, and like everybody is going through stuff in the world. You guys all have your stuff that you're going through, and it's a mindset. Like, I just figure, you know, I can either choose to wallow in self-pity. I can choose to, you know, sit and grumble and be angry about this, but everyone chooses their actions and their mood. And I found it so much easier living with myself, and trying to be positive about things. And things are going to work out. Whatever happens, and I'm not going to control it. I need to step up, and I need to take control of what I can do. So this is the reason why, like, I know one of the things that came to my mind, and I had a great principal that supported me, and staff supported me, and she started to go to Rise or to Muscle Hut, and her name was Renee Hildebrandt. And I don't know if she's still attending. Is she still attending?
I'm actually not even sure.
Okay, anyway,
Well,
it's-
her husband does.
her husband, Kevin, does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin. Anyways, she was a great support for me, and she didn't push anything. She says, I'm going to Rise, and I'm doing this PN coaching thing. And so I said, I'm gonna have to check this place out. So I was hoping that I didn't see anybody that I knew when I went there, and then I was standing at the desk there, and Curtis was there, and all of a sudden here comes Renee walking down the stairs, and she says, "Mr. Reimer, what are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking about coming and doing some fitness stuff." And so that was one of my choices. When we have adversity, when I had this adversity or this trial in my life, I just figured I better choose to be positive about things and do something about it. And I want to live longer for my family and for my grandchildren, and to have the energy enough to sit down and play with them and to joke around with them and fight with them, you know, like WWF wrestling type of thing. And so, and also, you know, change my eating habits, change how I see myself, how I feel myself. You know, obviously there's ebbs and flows, and everybody understands that, you know, going through times of not eating well, but then you can choose to say, I am going to do better today. I am going to actually make sure that I eat right today. You know, it's a choice. Every single day is a choice to do well for yourself, you know, and treat your body with respect, and that's how you build up resilience. So I don't know what else to say about this. It's a choice. You're in control of your actions and your moods, and you need to be proactive rather than reactive. All my life, I was reactive, instead of being proactive and thinking, what is the best thing for me?
Okay.
And that's not only physically and like eating and working out, it's emotionally as well. And a lot of times people during these times go through a bit of mental illness as well. And so that mental illness, you have to choose to say, no, I'm not going to feel this way. But it comes and comes. Like it says, ebbs and flows as well. But there's always a choice to be made. And I believe that I am stronger because of my faith, but also the people that surrounding me, my support group. Like my family is a support group for me, my staff is a support group for me. And I felt so concretely that the Rise and the people at Muscle Hut were my family, a part of my family, my health family, and a support group. So I want to thank everyone in advance, because I consider you as my health family. So
Nice.
thank you.
Okay.
So I don't know, does anybody have any questions? Did I cover everything that I wanted to cover?
We got all the points talked out. We're done. No, I do have some.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See you next Saturday.
No, I just totally believe that it's a choice that we all make. A choice every single day, every mealtime, every time you go to Rise, you know, or here at home to work out. I choose to do the exercise properly. I'm not going to cheat on this exercise because Stephen can't see everything that I see that I'm doing at home. You know,
Right.
like, I don't know. It's just a choice that we make. Like, how do you guys feel? Like, I mean,
I'm just gonna jump in here real quick, Wes. I have a question for you. So can you just talk a little bit about because you were a lot more, you were overweight.
yes, Stephen, I was a lot bigger.
Yes. Anyways, yes. Can you kind of talk us through what happened there, like as you were losing weight, and like you were going for, what was it? It was chemo treatments and stuff like that, right?
Well,
Like,
no, like I was extremely fortunate.
okay.
Like chemo and radiation weren't even a factor. It was almost like the margins, like they had taken the cancer out and then they had extended the margins and cut out the margins. So like I was like extremely fortunate. Like there's a lot of people in this world and in our communities that are not as fortunate and that had to have chemo and radiation. So I was extremely thankful for that I didn't have to have that.
That is very
And I had
fortunate.
to have some speech therapy because I was still slurring. And sometimes when I get tired, I still slur because a portion of my tongue has been cut out. So.
Okay. Can you talk us through, because you were bigger and then you decided to lose weight then, and can you, like, what were some of the first things that you started to do to work down that path?
Well, like I said, like cut out some carbs, yeah, but also the main thing is that I follow the PN coaching plan,
Okay.
you know, and like I said, last week or the week before, I did the 80% full and the app on my phone, as well as leaving 80% of my plate that I had, the plate of food that I had, I ate only 80% of it.
Okay.
And so that's where I started. And then I was still going to work out. And I in my mind, I just want to get this fabulous bod like Steve has, you know.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, I started losing weight and I noticed that I was just so pumped. I was so like, it was a great feeling that the things that I was doing were helping me to build resilience, helping me to take on any kind of adversity. Say, I accomplished this, I accomplished this step, right? And so over a period of a year and a half to 2 years, I lost like the 50 pounds, about, right, honey? 50 pounds, and I gained about 8 to 10 pounds of muscle mass.
Very nice. Yeah.
You know, so, and you remember that, Steve, and you remember that I was kind of discouraged sometimes that I didn't lose enough.
Mm-hmm.
And last week we talked about losing weight too, and it was just like, if you lose weight like 2 pounds, even 2 pounds a month over a period of 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of weight to lose.
That's a lot. Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of weight to lose. So throughout this stuff that I was going through with Rise and going to work out and to gain advice and through PN coaching, I gained a lot of faith in what we were doing, faith in what you guys were doing with me, and always adapting. You know, adapting. If things didn't work out for me, it was adapting, right? And so that was huge for me, right? Because I see all these people that are just like buff to the nines coming to the gym, you know, and then showing their big huge muscles off, and I says, oh my goodness sakes. But the thing is, I was never meant to feel awkward, never meant to feel self-conscious about myself, and about my body. It was always encourage. Everybody's encouraging, and that catches on.
And there's no mirrors.
Yeah, exactly. There's no mirrors,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know, to concentrate on. So like through PN coaching, through constant coaching for you guys and support, and for the community around there, and even people around us saying, great job. You did 1% better. You're always trying to do better every single time. You know, that constant encouragement does so much wonders for the sociability and for your emotional state and for your psychological state. It's a great thing.
Encouragement, whether you're a 2-year-old, a 10-year-old, or a 50-year-old, encouragement goes so far.
Yeah.
So far. And for Wes, the PN coaching was amazing. He loved it. The PN coaching and timing his eating at the table, which sometimes got annoying, but he's like, oh, I'm eating too fast. Oh, he had the timer on every meal, but it really made us slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And the chewing stuff too, right? Like they're talking about chewing your food like 20 times. I got annoyed with eating, like taking a forkful of food and chewing like, oh my goodness, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 20, you know, and then all of a sudden swallow, you know, and then all of a sudden the timer was over. I thought, okay, you know,
Yeah.
but anyway.
So then, like, what would you say would be like one of the things that I guess maybe going through the precision nutrition coaching program, what was something that you maybe saw in one of the lessons or a mindset approach that was kind of surprising to you that you wouldn't have expected would be part of the way you should think about food or the way you should approach food when you're trying to lose weight?
Well, the things that I remember and that are just so vivid to me are eat slow, and eat whole foods,
Mm-hmm.
and don't put so much pressure on yourself.
You were never.
No, those are the things that I really remember, and about about the support. Eat slow, whole foods, exercise. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, and have people around you that support you.
Nice.
That's the premise that I got from PN coaching. Lots of protein, yeah. Anyway.
What else? I have some more here. Does anybody have questions they want to jump in with? Carrie, Carol, anything you want to add to it as we're going along here? I'm just looking at some of the stuff some of my talking points here. Just give me a second.
Hey, Wes, do you have any pressure at family gatherings? Like, hey, you're not finishing your food, or are there things like that, or like insulting people because you're not taking enough of their delicious dishes that they brought?
Well, my mother is everyone else's conscience. And when I first started losing weight, and when Angie started really losing weight, and we ate less on the table, and saying, "Why are you guys dieting? You're gonna get like now. Right now, Mom always says I'm getting far too thin." And I said, "Yes, Mom. Yes. Look, really, I have a Honda tire now, but I had a Michelin Radial X before." You know. But yeah, my mom and dad, like specifically my mom, she does make these little dirty comments every once in a while about our eating and how much we eat and how little we eat and that kind of stuff. But I think that's sort of curbing off right now, right? Like it's like she's kind of getting used to that.
If you don't rebuttal it, you just like 747.
You know, it's just like, okay, well, this is my life, and I'm in charge of who I am and what I do, and I don't have to explain why. I just say, you know, this is how much food I can eat right now. This is I'm full.
And I don't think they're understanding like the whole concept of the muscle and the strength that you're gaining.
Yeah.
It's all about, oh, you're looking skinny. You're gonna blow away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so none of my other siblings are saying that, or other family or whatever. It's just basically my mom and dad, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Something I was actually thinking of just talking about as you kind of touched on it. You were saying like you see all the buff people at the gym, that kind of thing. Coming from my perspective specifically, so I'm take it for what it's worth, as it relates to you. But like, you know, you describe me as buff. I'll tell you right now that, I talked last week about how I did this cut thing and then I lost weight and stuff like that. I'll tell you, even as miserable as I felt at the bottom of it, I felt like it wasn't enough. I still didn't look the way that I thought people looked on like the magazine covers and all that stuff. And so when I came to the point where I was done, right, part of the reason why I was just so done was because I was sort of at the end of my rope. I felt like I couldn't do much more to make more weight loss happen without seriously endangering myself, like taking it from feeling dizzy, feeling always tired, feeling always, like everything, like just everything, every passing little bit of sickness would hit me, right? Kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so it almost felt like hopeless at one point, right? It was like, there is no way I'm ever going to look like the person on the magazine cover or the people that you see in the ads. I know a lot of times you get like ads from one guy in particular that I'm thinking of is a guy named V Shred. I don't know. I'm on the internet. Google knows my search history, so they knew lots about my preferences. The thing is, when you're talking about the way your body looks, honestly, like even if I got the exact same muscle percentage as that guy and exactly the same body fat percentage as that guy, right? I would still not look like he does. And that's just because we have so much genetic variability, right? So it's much better to say it's much better to approach it with, if you're gonna like, I would have lamented, I'm never gonna look like that guy, I'm never gonna look like this person, right? Rather it's like, no, I'm never gonna look like that person, I'm gonna look like me at my best, right? And I think it's a simple mindset flip, but it makes all the difference, because when you realize that how much of what you see online, how much of what you see in fitness advertising is literally just these, well, for lack of a better term, these sort of glossed up idols, really, right? Like I'm not trying to like extend this into like we bow down or like, that's not, I know that's a whole other thing we can get into, but what I'm saying is that building that resilience mindset has that also that idea, or like just resilience in general, this idea of being resilient to pressure that you feel from external sources or other things outside of what you can control, right? Because the way that person looks is outside of your control, right? So making the choice that you're going to just take steps to make sure that you are balancing how you appear, right? And also how your health is, those two things balanced is your ideal, and I think that then you have to find what each person has to find what that is for themselves, which is again why like the strict approach I don't think works for most people, because most people can't dedicate their lives to fitness, right? It's just not realistically achievable. The other thing I'll say about so much of the marketing and fitness advertising you see online is so much of it is honestly such garbage. So there are people who are certainly genetically gifted and better looking and that kind of thing. Fair enough. But like, no, seriously, they really are. There are studies that show what is actually desirable when it comes to human proportions in terms of the face, in terms of the body, and so on. But to say just because I've got a pony in this horse race, I'm just gonna sideline myself. That's not the right mindset, right? It's just you beef up that pony, you throw a V8 in her, and then you take as much as you can, right? Still a pony, so it doesn't look super amazing, but you're gonna get across the finish line, and it's going to surprise a lot of people along the way. It's going to inspire a lot of people along the way. There's that guy. He doesn't have the best horse, but guess what? He's making do with his pony, and he's doing freaking pretty good job with it, right? Kind of thing. And so, I don't know. To me, that's hopeful. That's a mindset that I think breeds a lot of good habits, because you like you said, you're working towards kind of that 1% better approach.
But when I say about it's a constant reminder, like you have to remind yourself, it's like every single time, like I went back, like after about a month or two, I go, okay, my shoulders aren't getting stronger. I have to do this. I have to do this. But no, there's always a good reminder from the coaches, and just to get your mindset back on track, saying, no, you are where you are, and you have to work on it from where you are. and just constantly increase like a little bit by little bit. And so it's never, it doesn't seem to be ever good enough for all of us. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it's like, I have to have results quick. We are in a quick world.
Yeah.
Everything has to be done instantly, all the time, right? And so we want to see results fast. Well, in our health and in our fitness, it is a process, because your muscles and like your whole body has to adjust to the new on a consistent basis, right? So that's what I went through. I think I was harder on myself than anybody else was. I guess that's the way it is. I guess that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Wes.
Yeah.
Man, when you guys went into this fitness, you mentioned, George mentioned your parents. Chris and I, some of the challenges we have is a lot of our friends aren't in the same, they're not choosing the same path that we're on. So they think we're kind of weird if we eat salad or ride a bike in summertime. So it was refreshing to join. When Chris and I decided to join Rise, we said, Wes is going to Rise because we know how old you are. You were in the yearbook in high school. So
Elementary for me.
it was refreshing to see somebody our age coming to the gym. And a lot of our friends are saying, really, you guys are going to the gym? Like they thought, like that's kind of weird.
I know. Yeah.
So
exactly.
we struggle to have friends that, we ride a lot of bike, but there's not a lot of people our age that are into that, right? So it's always a struggle to find someone to do stuff like that with.
Mm-hmm.
That's your question?
No, I'm just saying, are you challenged? Like, do you have a good support group?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned mums and dads, they want you to eat everything on your plate, and your friends expect you to do these things, but do you guys have a good friend base that support you guys? I guess that's my question.
Yeah.
There's a long
our
rumble.
friends are on the same, they've gone through some of the same challenges, and they are very health conscious also. And so maybe that was a bit of an influence for us too. But they do nothing but support and encourage and see how great we're doing. And it's just, it's very supporting that way. And I just want to also say too, Wes mentioned mental health before, and I struggle with anxiety, and I try and push through. It's hard, and with my parents dying not that long ago, it was even more so a benefit for me to get some, like, exercise and mental health are they go hand in hand, because it's just such a great help. But anyway, there was times when I would cry my way right through the workout, and Steve was probably going, okay, whatever. But he probably didn't know how to quite deal with it, but he just carried on. And I remember doing bench presses, and the tears were just pouring down the side. But you got to do what you got to do, and it's so hard to push through. But the environment that Rise is so different than any, like, you can't even compare it to any other gym. It's just.
Ooh, we're getting a link drop here or something. Oh.
We're still on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still here.
Hopefully it jumps ahead.
More than Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wes, can you guys hear us? Oh,
Oh, there's Steve.
Got rid of it.
No, it's just fun for the way we sitting.
Yeah, he's sitting at the window there.
oh,
George.
they dropped off. They're gonna need to hop back in. So, Chris, how are you? Or my bad. I always get your
problem.
Still, I know, right?
Over, Dean.
Well, Steve, when we got married, they made the two of us one, so it doesn't really matter.
Love it.
We're interchangeable.
I see. Oh man. Yeah. What I was gonna say is like, how do you find like people in the like? Do you go cycling with other people? Like, are you part of like the Head for the Hills group and like that kind of thing? I guess to what extent are you doing biking?
Well, Chris and I, we have two. We do either mountain biking and we have road bikes as well. So
See.
Not so much the mountain. I like things
yeah,
flat.
Chris doesn't like mountains much.
No.
But yeah, well, it's still off-roading.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nobody really in our group that does it
Or
to the
not.
level that we do,
Right.
Well, any level.
or to any level.
Yeah.
So
So we go just the two of us.
usually it's the two of us. It's kind of like joining the gym, Steve. I know there's a riding group, and Pete Lowen, is it Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sells me our bikes and stuff like that. So he's been trying to get me in. I go like, I'm 30 years older than all you guys. But so I haven't joined that group, and I'm pretty sure I'm at the level that I could probably stay within 2 miles of those guys. But
I did encourage Arlen to join that group. For me, that's a little too competitive.
Mhm.
So that's not for me, but I encouraged Arlen to do it for sure. But we go together, just the two of us.
so we bike about, 500 kilometers a month.
Oh,
I
do.
A
wow.
lot.
In summer, yeah, people in the winter all think that's all we do is bike, but we have some good bike paths in winter to do stuff
We
like
do.
that. So
Excellent bike paths, yeah.
the highways are dangerous. We used to ride on the highways, and between Roland and Winkler, you almost get killed every time
Yeah.
because people don't move over. They just about clip you right off the road. So
But yeah, our friend group isn't very, I keep telling Arlen, you have to find new friends, but it's tough as adults. I mean, we say it's tough as kids to find friends, but it's tough as adults too. I mean, we love our friends, but yeah, it would just be nice to be able to do things with people that enjoy the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I was gonna say is, seriously, Arlen, you should let me know when you want to go mountain biking. Once the trails dry off, I'll do Morden Lake with you. I'm not super quick or anything like that, but
perfect guy I want to go with.
What?
The perfect guy for me to go with. You're not
I'm
super
not
quick.
sure we all trust Steven's idea of what's super quick.
I
in
know.
this.
I know. Yeah.
Gary, I don't need that kind of negative.
3 miles behind Steven, and he's not super quick. I got it.
That's not how it's gonna be. Just watch. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I'm gonna be huffing and puffing like hardcore, especially the first few times. That is one of the things that's cool. I found that every time I do go mountain biking for a little bit during the summer, I've found that at least, yeah, you very quickly improve.
Yeah.
Cardiovascular performance really fast, I found. But yeah, totally. Like I have some friends too who would definitely hop in, who would be maybe not otherwise wanting to do like the country cycle group, biking with them either. So seriously, I can get a bunch of people together. We could go together. And
You're only 30 years older than these guys.
I know.
Another
No,
suggestion there, Arlen.
We're
is
going to take Grandpa. What's that?
Another suggestion is even post something like that on the Rise Insiders. Hey, is
Yeah.
there anyone who would be interested? Because as we talk a lot about community, but there might be other people within our community who are interested
Right.
in joining both of you, right? So whether it could be like even George and Helen who are on the call here, or someone else, right?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
yeah, well, it's okay. I was just about to text you.
Something's
But
going
yeah,
on.
I'd highly recommend even just posting something like that on the Insiders. If there's something that you're interested in that you think other people within our own community, that's totally acceptable to post something like that on Insiders. Hey, is there anyone
Okay.
else who might be interested in doing this type of thing?
Okay.
Right on. Good idea. If spring ever comes.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Arlen, how old are you?
That's pretty personal. I'm 56.
You're 55.
Oh, I'm 55. Sorry.
55.
Well, I'm my dad. 55. Strong as I can be.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you right now, my dad's 45, and I'm pretty confident you could whip him no problem. So, Wes, I'm not seeing video for you. Are you able to hear me, Wes?
I think he's in the morning, right? Their Wi-Fi is like 1 up, 2 down. George,
Yeah.
I just see you smiling at me. I just had to say, George.
Hey, I'm in Reinfeld. We're doing okay here.
Are you?
Yeah, we're gonna get Valley Fiber in about a year, so we're
Year or two or
Yeah,
whatever it
we're-
comes.
So, are you on NPS now?
But yeah, I'm up for the group ride. Absolutely. I did Head for the Hills, I think 2 years. So, and I'm on the Eden board and I'm wearing a Head for the Hills shirt. So yeah, I'm definitely up for a more casual ride. Like I survived the Head for the Hills thing.
But he took the easy route, most of it.
No, that was an accident. I was going to do the tough he under the bus.
Hey, but he didn't have any, like he didn't go and practice to get
I was
ready
on
for
that.
it.
I was on the bikes at Rise. I was on the rower. Like I was going hard.
You're ready.
To it. I was going on bike rides. I don't know. I don't know what.
Well, I meant you didn't have any practice. Like you, when it was Head for the Hills, that was the first time you got on your bike that whole year.
Maybe 1 year, but not the other year. The 1 year, I really, but whatever. I enjoy it too, and whatever. I survived the ride. Like
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
I picked you up.
So yeah, they're supposed to pick you up at the end of it. Like you don't ride back. Well, the maniacs do, but
Here's the thing, right? Like with when it comes to like mountain biking, like trail riding type stuff, man, like it really is a skill. It's different than just trying to bike, like with the exercise bike here or the rower here. I can totally see how like it would be pretty tough if you've done like the cardio machines here, which are great, but they're kind of designed to do one thing, which is to just burn calories. Whereas like you're developing a skill when you're out there on the trails. Like some of those drop offs are pretty steep, and you're kind of like, there's a route here or there.
They're going deep at the trails.
All that kind of stuff. Like it's definitely a skill that takes a bit of time to develop.
Do you have a story that goes along with that, there, Stephen?
No.
Are you kidding?
Yes. Fine. Okay. So I was biking by Minawasta, and there's that area at the. I guess it would be the. Oh man, which way am I facing now? It would be the southeast end. I want to say, like where the switchbacks. I took my bike around those switchbacks, and the dirt. It was really dry in the middle of summer, so the dirt was loose. Yeah, so the switchback basically is a series, like usually they'll use it on a hill to kind of kill some of your momentum. So it'll go down like this and then down, and it kind of cuts back and forth like this down a hill. Well, the dirt was loose, so I was trying to sorry, Wes is texting me here. I was trying to go down carefully even, but I hit one of the corners or the edges of the switchback where it turns back, and my tire slipped, and I fell into the ravine. And I was picturing that scene from Princess Bride, where like the lady pushes him down the hill, and then he's slowly tumbling down, as you wish, kind of thing, and then she throws herself down after him. Anyways, so I get to the bottom of this ravine, and I'm completely whatever. I look over at my bike, and the tire's like completely bent.
Oh no.
Like this. But somehow the tire was still like staying on the frame, and it wasn't like deflating a whole bunch or anything like that. So I hauled it out of the ravine, and I bent it back straight, and the tire was like doing this thing as it was rolling. But I biked it all the way back to the beach, and it kind of, for the most part, worked out. And then I took it to countryside.
Are we having some technical difficulties here or what?
I think so. Who's talking?
That's Wes.
That's Wes. Okay.
Wes, we were mocking more than
Your video is
Wi-Fi.
off right now. Can you hear us?
No.
I can hear you.
He needs to join with his audio. Maybe he didn't press the button.
Yeah, I hit the ask to start video thing for him
He's
earlier.
gone again.
But I'll just keep the biking conversation going here. I don't want to deter anyone from doing like a nice Rise biking trip or whatever, but I can relate to Steven's story. We were camping at Falcon Lake. Was it last year or the year before? Well, it doesn't matter, but yeah, I was kind of coming down a hill super fast and whatever, having a great ride and everything. And then there was a blind corner, and then a guy came around there, and I didn't want to crash into him. So, and I just did like a split-second reaction, and I pressed my brakes. And when you're kind of going downhill already, I went flying over my handlebars like a torpedo, and broke my fall with my helmet.
With his
and,
face.
With my face and my helmet, and when I did the same thing, folded my front wheel up like a taco and stuff like that, and good thing I still had or didn't wreck my phone, so I was able to text Helen. Or I think I shouldn't have done this, but I sent her a picture of my bloody mouth and hand, and
I don't know. I think you first said, I think you need to come pick me up. And it's like, why? And then you sent me a picture, and it's like, where are you?
And then she overreacted and whatever. I was pretty shell shocked and stuff. Like, I had a brief conversation with the guy. He asked if I was okay. I'm like, just give me a minute here. Like, let me sit here on the ground for a couple of minutes or whatever. But yeah, I'll be okay. I just need to recover. So then I texted Helen, and I was blown away by how quickly they got there, because I was like halfway up the lake, and it's like, how many laws did you guys break to come rescue me here? So it was a lot of fun. Like, I was just getting into mountain biking and whatever. I just shouldn't have gone so fast down a blind corner, and I was coming back, so I kind of knew exactly what was coming or whatever, and it was just silly. It's one of those bad timing things where, we both came around the corner at the same time, and one of us is gonna have to turn. So, but yeah, I would love to go on like a controlled ride. I would be totally up for that.
Okay. Sweet.
I'll put it up on.
I got back on the phone, guys.
Cool. Yeah, Arlen, if you want to put that on the Rise Insiders, totally. We should see what kind of like group wants to start going. I'm in. Let's do it.
Okay.
Me too.
Sorry, Wes. We had like a bit of a biking conversation, a little biking tangent here. But,
What happened? Was it on our end, or was it? It was.
yeah, it was on your guys' end. I think your connection dropped or something.
Ah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Arlen was just asking when we got bumped off about if our friends support us and are in the same lifestyle. So I was just wondering if you have anybody it sounded like you didn't really have a lot of encouragement in that area. Is it getting better, or did you have to find new friends?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we just made a choice to do our own thing, and,
Yeah.
and that's what we do, and that's life, right?
Yeah, we don't. It's not a topic of conversation with our friends because of that. So, not that they discourage us, but they just don't understand.
Right.
So, yeah. So and not that they aren't. I guess like it's not like they want to be unhealthy, but they. Boy,
Yeah.
that's a face here. Can we?
It's because you're talking.
I know. Oh, is that why? Okay, I'll stop then. Okay, that's a lot of faith first thing in the morning.
It's really encouraging for you, but I think that that's almost an issue at any age, because I had the same thing even in like my mid-20s, where like people are like, oh, so you're going to the gym type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're dieting. So I don't think that's necessarily just a problem at your age, right? It's at pretty much any
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's every age. It's hard to.
Yeah. It's one of those things, until they experience it, right? It's hard for them
Right.
to fathom the fact, like, people were shocked, you want to go work out today? And I'm like, yeah, I actually want to go. And that was just mind-boggling for my coworkers and also my friends. So not that that's a helpful necessarily comment. It doesn't help you figure out how to navigate,
No.
but
Yeah. No, it's true. You do. And then in the end, like Wes said, you have to make your own choice and you have to get your own mindset. And that's so important, I think, is the mindset, because this is not a destination, it's a journey, and you have to enjoy the journey while you're getting there, because otherwise a lot of life is going to pass you by.
Exactly.
I know my kids were always were scared that Dad was going to overdo it. You know, you're working out like in the earlier days, like before this, like then they would see me during the summer that I would go like 4 or 5 days a week, and they're just shaking their heads, and they said, "Why do you want to put yourself through torture like that?" I said, "Well, it's like it's a routine thing, it's a scheduling thing, and I need to be scheduled, and I need to do things like this for my health." And they're finally starting to get this, and then they're wanting to emulate that. And I want to be, I don't know, for me, I feel like not only for myself, but I want to be an example to my kids and to my grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
More to the whole support thing. I actually hadn't thought about it till you guys are kind of talking about it, so it's interesting. But yeah, like when I was in high school, like this might sound not very nice of me, but I kind of like, I was starting to do the working out thing. So I started with P90X, I was working out, all that. And my friends, yeah, they were definitely, and like what you're saying, Carrie, they don't get it, right? And then like you guys were all saying too, they don't really get it. They're not trying to deter you or pull you away from it. But like, I know something I had like a lot, I had anxiety about in high school was when I was working out, when I stopped seeing progress as quickly, then I was like paranoid that people were even like thinking like, oh, he puts all that effort in, but he's not getting any like of the benefits that they can see out of it. And it's kind of like, okay, well, but you got to understand, I'm doing this a little bit for my sanity. I'm not doing this like I want the results, sure, fair enough, but like I'm doing this for other reasons too. And that being said, a healthy lifestyle can look different ways. So on my part, on the flip side of things, it's I don't know, maybe it's an interesting dichotomy, I guess. But there were points where I didn't have a lot of respect for people who didn't work out. One example would be my younger brother. My younger brother, he's a great guy. I love him. You know, he's family. He has never taken the same interest in fitness that I have, right? And I gave him, like, I'd periodically give him a hard time. I'd say, buddy, you need to go work out. You need to put more effort in, that kind of thing. It was interesting because one time we were walking somewhere, and it was just, I don't know, sometimes you just have this sort of lightning strikes you, light bulb kind of moment. And I was saying, oh, I remember there was somebody else in, so it was me and some other people. Anyways, somebody in the group said how, like, they asked me why, like they said, you know, you look good. Why would you, you know, keep pushing? Why would you keep working so hard? And so, you know, I told them how one of my outward external goals was to have a six-pack year round all the time kind of thing, right? Like no time of year, no matter whatever, I would always, anyways. And I said, you know, that was what my goal was. And they said, you know, why? And I was kind of like, because, well, why wouldn't I? If I can, then why wouldn't I, right? And then my brother made the interesting statement, and he's a young guy. Like, he was 16 or whatever at the time, 16, 17 at the time. And he just literally said, he said, for me, I don't ever need that. It doesn't need to be like that. And I don't know, sometimes like it's something really simple you hear. And then for me, it was just like this click moment. And I was like, you know, I hold myself to that standard specifically, but I've maybe even expected that of people who are close to me. But really, you can be healthy without ever having to go as far as what I've gone personally. And I shouldn't try to hold them, you know, hold my brother to the same level as what I'm trying to push for myself. And yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, again, like you and the way you approach it versus the way other people might approach it, and how, yeah, there's kind of two sides to that coin. On the one hand, it's like they don't get what you're doing, but on the other hand, too, it's okay as long as they are trying to live and move towards, you know, living healthy lifestyles. It doesn't necessarily have to look the same as what you're doing. I don't know. I guess I'm going off on a tangent, but it was just an interesting moment for me, and I was just thinking of it as you guys were talking about.
I don't think you went on a tangent. I think that you're describing mindset, right? You're describing how you felt and how your mind was in the moment. This is what I'm doing for myself, and I feel great, and I want to share it with everybody around me because I feel great with my body, and I feel that's where I was going, you know. And I'm exercising. I think a mindset. That was just a mindset, Steve. But I mean, I guess some people can overdo it and push people. But I think, I mean,
But it's the inner strength too. A lot of people don't understand. It's not all about like the big muscles and six pack. It's about strength to get through your day, and inner strength. It's all works together.
Mhm.
Did you have a comment, Steve, about, I don't know if you guys heard it before we got bumped off, about how it helps mental health?
You know what? I don't remember if I was going to say anything as it relates to that. I don't know. For myself, I'll just the general benefits, which is, yeah, I mean, the endorphin release really does help with feeling more calm throughout my day. I find in my more angsty days, not that I haven't angsty right now necessarily, but in my more angsty days in high school, it was definitely a time where I was just working on my own towards my own goals, and you know, you can kind of just shove all the stresses off to the side for a little bit, and you have this sort of time where you can just focus on one thing. And it's a very I guess a very simple thing really in concept. You're just lifting something heavier than you lifted last time, right? But it really does help because you sort of make your world for a moment, a period in time, very, very small, right? And that gives you a bit of time to just disconnect from everything else, and it's stress relieving that way. I don't know what I guess going around, like, would everybody else in our group also kind of say they use this for, like, would you say that fitness is like primarily mental health, or is it like, you know, is it a lot of it, you know? Yeah, I guess kind of a poll. Like, what are your thoughts? Is it primarily mentally health for you, mental health, or is it primarily like just the physical benefits? Obviously, it's more nuanced than that. People do it for a mixture of reasons, but.
Well, I think I definitely, I can speak for myself that it's pretty eclectic. It's like psychological, emotional, mental, physical, all encompassing.
It really is.
It's all encompassing. So for me, that's the benefits that I have received from Rise and from exercising, from eating better, that kind of stuff. It has really helped me deal with my day-to-day stuff. I mean, there's also ebbs and flows, like I said before, but it sure has helped me deal with my workplace in regards to my grade 7 class, you know, those hormonally challenged individuals. You know, so anyway, so it's really helped me with that too. So yeah, so all encompassing. I don't know, how do you guys feel?
I'll chime in there too. I know for me, it was more like I started for weight loss. That is 100% why I started when I first did. And I definitely found how I felt, like my body felt better. My pain was lower back pain was pretty much gone after a couple of months. And then also mental health. So at my last job, it was quite stressful. And even though I liked who I was working with, I liked a lot of the job I was doing, I came home from a very high stress work day. And if I would go to the gym right after work, it completely changed my evening, right? So I came home in one mindset, was able to have that little bit of a reset and then go into the rest of my day, right? Versus going home in that high stress, having people around me where I was maybe a little bit more irritable than I should have been, stuff like that, I found that not only was my body feeling better, and I definitely noticed it when I stop, but also the stress. So it definitely, my reason for going was not my reason for staying, right? So regardless of what got me there in the first place, was not what kept me going after. And I definitely, like, I did lose quite a bit of weight at the start too. But then after that, you know, my goals and the reason for continuing definitely shifted.
It's hard for me to believe, Carrie, that you would have been stressful and that you would have been that you would have been
Irritable.
irritable.
Yeah, but now I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not there, Wes.
Such a positive, encouraging person.
Oh, no. No. Definitely that's not what my family that I was living with at the time would have told you.
What for you guys?
Well, we find you very encouraging. So
Well, thanks, Wes.
Like, what would you? I guess, yeah. Just I'm guessing I'm trying to draw out like what, yeah, you know, yeah. What are the? Is it like a lot of mental health stuff for you? I know, like running a business, right? It's got definitely things that are going to be high stress about that. So, yeah, for you guys, George, Helen, what are your thoughts on that?
yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's been a lot of stress relief lately. We're indirectly being affected by some businesses being forced to shut down. So we felt that with our revenue and everything. So there's some tough choices I have to make, but things are recovering or whatever. So things are whatever, and I'm changing gears. So and I messaged Curtis the other day. I said I'm going to be leaning heavy on my gym membership now to help out that stress relief and then keep my mental health up. So it's exactly what Carrie said and what a lot of the others have said. It starts out as for me, it was a health thing, or just I wanted to have a higher level of health. So when everyone's health does eventually start going down a little bit as you're getting closer to the end of your life, I just wanted to have a higher starting point and then to go have a better quality of life longer. And
We're not flying, we're falling with style. That's
exactly.
But it is a great point, George. We were having a conversation the other day where someone, and this was something that was so huge for me, was even just comparing it to like your retirement savings, right? Like, are you saving for retirement now, or are you waiting till, 10 years from now to start saving and you've missed all that time, right? Because regardless, we're going to decline. Whether my starting point's here and I decline from there, or whether I raise my starting point to here and decline from there. So that's
great analogy.
Yep.
So yeah, now it's all about the stress relief though, and not totally falling off the wagon and mentally and physically and everything. So it's touching on what you said about going after work. I think that's what I need to do personally for the next while. So I'm curious to see what the time slots are going to be going forward. But I think for me, it's going to be better if I go at the end of the day, just to kind of finally force myself, okay, you need to take a break now, and now you need to burn off all of this energy because you're wired and you're whatever. Now this needs to be that transition, or I forget the word you use, Carrie, but it's like a reset. Yeah, it's like a reset at the end of your day, and it's like, okay, you've hammered away at the keyboard and mouse for hours now, and now you need to do something physical, and then now you're done for work or whatever. Now you just need to chill out.
Because George works all day and all night just about most times.
No, only certain seasons or whatever. Like whatever. For years it was pretty calm or whatever, but now it's like, okay, it's go time, and now you will have to figure this out. So it's all good. Don't worry about me, guys. I'll be fine. I'll see you on the other side.
There we go.
Not of death, not of life and death.
I know.
When we
You walked into that one, George.
Yeah. I don't know, Paula. I know you have your microphone muted right now, Paula. But what about, like, for you? Do you have anything that you want to add for that? Would you say that it's like, mental health benefits? Is it the physical benefits? Yeah.
Hold on, Elvin is FaceTiming with his grandson, so I can't. kind of loud here. It's definitely both the mental and the physical. My last job was very stressful, and then it turned out some of the stressors started coming to the gym as well.
Okay.
So that changed my perspective on working out. Slam balls became heads, and yeah, that's just how I dealt with it. Like, it helped a lot. Yeah, it was very helpful that way. But yeah, and now with my new job, I was finding that my old job, post-work day workouts were the best. Could de-stress, left everything there, start over the next day. My new job, it's a totally different kind of stress because I don't actually deal with that many people anymore. And yeah, now I work out in the mornings instead, and I'm prepared for the day. It's like preventative instead of reactive.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and morning workouts are good too, because like I found it also set a good tone for the day, right? So it's not that one is better than the other. You just got to find what works for you.
Yeah, because my second last job, I was definitely on my feet more. I had no problem hitting 7,000 steps at work, whereas now, on a normal day, if I don't work out, I'm lucky if I hit 2,000. So I really like going in the mornings better that way. But my other one, it was kind of the other way around. So, yeah. But starting at the gym, it was definitely about the weight loss. And then everything else just kind of fell into that. The weight loss, I don't think, is something I worry about as much anymore because I can just feel on myself. I just feel so much better. And the size is kind of irrelevant. I think me and Carrie were talking about this a while back about clothing sizes, and I'm dropping sizes like crazy. And I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for that. Like the new pants I have that now fit, I'm like, I can't believe I'm this size. And I almost don't want to commit to it because I don't know if I can keep wearing them. Like, it's just a crazy size I never thought I'd be again. So, yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah, that like really has that longevity idea in mind, right? Like, you can make it a permanent thing, but I can see how yeah, you're looking at it and you're like, I really fit in these kind of thing, like, wow. And you're like, but you know what, if you're kind of at the back of your mind, there's this nagging worry about what if I end up backsliding or that kind of thing. And I think that just has that like longevity mindset. Make sure that this is kind of related to what you were talking about earlier. Make sure that your routines are set up so that you can maintain things for the long term, right? And you were talking about how with the new job, you have to kind of rearrange your routine and make it more of a morning thing as opposed to an after work kind of thing. So it's really cool that you identified that needed to change pretty quick, and then you kind of were able to make the switch. And of course, there's always like bugs that you have to kind of work out when you're like logistically with your time and your energy expenditure and just those things that kind of, oh, now this got forgotten because of that, but whatever. But it's cool that you identified that really quickly and you made the change. Yeah. I just gotta look at some questions here. If anybody else wants to add anything in. Let's see here.
I'll just comment on the workouts. Chris and I really like the morning workouts because it kind of sets up our day.
Mhm.
When you get done that, you're ready to, because we both do have stressful jobs as well, and it kind of sets our mindset. We got that behind us, and sometimes it kicks our butt, but it sure feels good when it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
I totally agree. I love the morning workout because I've always been a morning person. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like how it gets us going for the day.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll leave it open now for a little bit for Q&A kind of thing. This can range from like mindset stuff. We did cover, I think, a lot of things on that. Like the practical stuff, if there's, we had that whole thing last weekend where we were talking about if you're going camping, how, I had some recommendations as to how I was looking at the picnic table of food there. If you've got questions as, like on, you want to know more about like why fiber is really good. Everybody tells you fiber and you can get those fiber first bars, which is the whole marketing around that is that you're getting more fiber, right? you know, stuff like, you know, we could talk about like low fat, you know, low carb, you know, and the different ways that stuff has trended there, and maybe the, you know, benefits or negatives of each of those. Yeah, I don't know. Any questions as it relates to that? Like, for example, you know, going grocery shopping, you see a new product on the shelf and you're like, that makes a lot of claims. Is that too good to be true? You know, yeah. Anything with that?
Listen.
I know that I've become a lot more of a label reader
Mm.
since I've joined and since I've had this mindset.
Yeah. Something I will say about labels is when you're buying stuff, if you are curious as to how, you know, quote unquote healthy it actually is, I didn't know this actually up until relatively recently, but if you look at the label, the ingredients on the label are listed in order of their predominance in the product.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah.
the first thing in the label is what it has the most of. So if you see stuff like, you know, like dextrose or like these different, they're basically sugar byproducts.
All of the oses are sugar.
What?
Yeah.
All of the oses are sugar. Fructose,
Yes. Yeah.
dextrose. Yeah.
Exactly right. And then
Yeah, exactly.
that looks seemingly really healthy. Okay. Cool, Paula. Have a good one. Stay safe. Yeah, actually, she sent it to everybody, so you guys can all see it. Yeah, so that was something that I found really interesting, is they actually do have it labeled in order like that. Another thing maybe to think about too is that you can have healthy foods that add a lot of nutrition and a lot of, when I say nutrition, what I mean there is they add a lot of the micronutrients, right? Vitamins and minerals that you need to have a healthy body. But sometimes you can have stuff where it's very healthy, but it's still very calorically dense. And so sometimes people will try to, I've had situations, I'm thinking specifically right now of a lady I'm working with. I talked with her last week. So this week, basically she journaled, and she spent the week journaling her food, and she sent me the breakdown of it. And there's a couple of things in there that they look really healthy and they sound great, but they end up being pretty calorically dense, right? So she was very surprised when my first recommendation was actually to reduce a few of those things and replace them with a few, well, really, I was replacing them more with, like, for example, I'll just give the example. She really liked like a salty trail mix type thing, but nuts are great. They really, really are, right?
We're still alive.
But they are fat, like heavy in fat.
Good drop. Everyone's froze.
Okay.
There you go.
So like something like trail mix is a great snack, but you just need to be careful with how much you have of it, because nuts are pretty calorically dense, because fat has 9 calories per gram. And so
That's it?
What?
I said, that's it?
But that's per gram of food weight, right? So for every gram that you put on a scale of nuts, for example, that's 9 calories, right? So now you go for it, right? And that adds up pretty quick. So it's an interesting concept of balancing your nutrient density and your calorie density, right? So I recommended some more veggie oriented, right? Because she liked the texture of the crunch when she bites into, you know, nuts, basically, kind of thing, right? So I said, you know, you can still have the trail mix. I'm not going to try and take that away. We're just going to substitute in, you know, some carrots or some. Basically, I told her to choose a crunchy vegetable kind of thing. That would allow her to have that texture still. And the nice thing about having sort of a crunchy texture is, because you are chewing more, it does tell your body as well, at like a psychological level, that you are eating more than if you just go back liquids. It's the same reason why people, like, the recommendation is not to drink your calories. You just won't feel the same level of fullness and satisfaction from what you've taken in a day if you're drinking a lot of your calories, even if let's say it's like a very healthy juice, right? It can, you can be getting a lot of calories, but not actually feeling very full because of the fact that it's all in liquid format, so it right away gets digested by your body. You don't get the sensation of having it in your mouth and chewing it as much, and so it doesn't leave you feeling as satisfied. So yeah, anyways, I just figured I would elaborate on that a little bit because I was thinking about that as it relates to the tweaks we're making sort of there one-on-one. Yeah, I don't know, thoughts there, comments, questions, concerns, disagreements.
I think portion control is huge. That is so key.
Yeah.
And we try and do, like, I always eat off the small lunch plate and I use a small fork. It's a head game, but it works because you don't need a big dinner plate. So we make sure that we have half our plate is veggies, and by that I don't mean corn.
Right.
Like we have lots of asparagus, lots of broccoli, lots of cauliflower, any of those rich veggies. But your plate should be at least half veggies, and then either like chicken or fish, and we're not strict with the carbs, but we don't have carbs every supper, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Portion control is something that's come up a lot, or eating what's on your plate. And I think that's a great point, Angie, that you just made there with the smaller plate. Is if you're someone who struggles with, I have to eat everything on my plate, I need to adjust the portion size accordingly, right? So instead of, oh, I'm just going to take everything, right? Eyes are bigger than the stomach often. Just that portion control. Because I had one client who said, I'm never going to be okay with leaving food on my plate. And then you have two options, right? Either you adjust the portion of the food on your plate, or you deal with the consequences of finishing that, right? Like you've kind of got two options there. If you're not okay with leaving the food on your plate because that's something that's been ingrained into you, right? Then adjusting the portions at the front end of it helps too, right? So just adjusting the portion size. That doesn't mean if you're truly not full or satisfied, right? If you're using the 80% principle, it doesn't mean you can't go back for another small helping. But just keeping in mind there that if that's a struggle for you of having to finish what's on your plate, adjust what's on your plate to begin with. Yeah.
I always sorry, Carrie. I always found that like if when I was eating from a bigger plate, then I had to eat faster to keep up with everybody else around the table. So that didn't do me any good. So what Angie was saying about the smaller plate, it works.
Yeah, I think that's a great hack. It's simple. It's like, there you go, mom or dad or whoever has grained this into my mind. I'm finishing my plate. Here you go. Like a pizza, like a medium and a large. There's like so much more pizza in just a slightly larger pizza, and it's like if you finish a medium versus a large, not one person on their own, but yeah, just the smaller plate is a very, very good hack to finish 100% of your plate, and it's just a smaller plate. So maybe we need to get some new dinnerware or something.
Right. Well, unless there are any other, burning questions or thoughts or whatever, yeah, I would really encourage you. Thank you for sharing, Wes. Really do appreciate it.
You're most welcome.
Thanks, Wes. It was great.
You're welcome.
It was great. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You take care, guys.
Yep.
You too.
Okay, we'll
Have
see
a
ya.
great week, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
George.
George, see you, Chris, Arlen.
See ya.
Oh.